Chalk and Silence, a story of forbidden love, sacrifice, and waiting. Teaching math was the easiest thing in the world for Mr. Daniel. Equations were predictable, numbers were loyal, they followed the rules. Unlike people. He stood at the chalkboard every day, solving problems no one dared challenge. But in the back row of grade 10 section B sat the only question he couldn't answer. Her name was Hannah, 16, smart, curious, and dangerously kind. She wasn't the kind of girl who flirted or played games, she just listened. She understood, she saw through people, and Mr. Daniel feared how clearly she saw through him. He never touched her, never said a word. But hearts don't need words to speak, and students always notice more than teachers think. They began to whisper. He loves her. He stares too long. He smiles only when she's around. Their whispers became poison. And in a school where teachers were supposed to be strict, cold, and emotionless, his silence was mistaken for guilt. They stopped learning from him. We don't want a teacher who falls in love with his student, they said. And just like that, the board turned against him. He was fired. No hearing, no questions, just a quiet letter handed to him on a rainy Friday. And with it, his life collapsed. He had no family left, no savings, no country that wanted him. He boarded a plane and flew to New York City, not for hope, just for distance. For 20 years, Mr. Daniel lived on the streets, not even as a beggar, but as a shadow. He didn't speak to people. He didn't ask for help. He wrote formulas in chalk on brick walls. He scribbled mathematical poems behind dumpsters. Some called him crazy, but he was never mad, just grieving. He had sacrificed everything, not for fame, not for sin, but for love, the kind the world didn't want to understand. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Hannah grew up. She became one of the most respected engineers in the United States. Her face was on magazine covers. She designed bridges and airports, but no one knew what she carried in her heart. Until one day, she was sent an old photo from someone in New York. A photo of a homeless man solving calculus on a wall. His hair was gray, but his eyes were unmistakable. "Mr. Daniel?" she whispered, hand trembling. She found him in a forgotten corner of Brooklyn, hunched over a milk crate scribbling equations on a sidewalk. "Sir?" she said with tears in her voice. "It's me." "Hannah." He looked up, slowly. His eyes widened, but he said nothing. Then, with a shaking voice, he whispered, "I knew you would come, but I didn't know when." That day, she married him. Right there, on the street. In a second-hand white dress, with strangers watching, crying. A homeless teacher and a brilliant engineer. The wedding made headlines. The genius bride who married her homeless teacher. Some called it madness, others called it poetry. Months later, she became pregnant. He held her every night, whispering the names of constellations, teaching the child inside her equations before it was born. But life is cruel to those who love too deeply. She died during childbirth. The baby never took a breath. Monsieur Daniel returned to the street not because he had nowhere else to go, but because that's where he had waited for her before. Now he waited again. He slept beside the trash, talked to ghosts, and marked each year by the number of chalks he wore down, writing her name on brick walls. He waited for 40 more years. People forgot about the wedding, forgot about the genius woman, but they still saw him. An old man, silent, always watching the sky. When asked why he stayed on the street, he would answer, "This is where she found me. This is where she'll return." Yesterday, he died. Peacefully. Alone, under the same street lamp where she once kissed him. In his pocket was a folded photo of her, and a note that simply read, "Gone to find Hannah. Will be back, never." Maybe he finally solved the only equation that mattered, the one that connects love, loss, and time. Maybe he's teaching her math again? In a classroom of stars, where love is no longer feared, and no one is ever fired for feeling too much.